All right, welcome to Off the Cuff in 30 Minutes, episode 5. So, a lot of flooding going on today. Japan, New York, London, Philippines, Texas.
I just found out 2 days ago or a day ago from a friend of mine that moved from Connecticut to uh, Texas, and she's reaching out on social media like, "Hey, I hope you guys are okay in New Jersey." I'm like, "What the heck's going on in New Jersey?" And then you find out, like you said, everything's just flooding.
Nothing in Connecticut, though,
Not to my knowledge, there's nothing
huh?
happening here. I mean, it's freaking hot, that's for sure. It's a heat advisory for the next 3 days. It was like 105 out there. It's insane.
Yeah. So I guess the subway system in New York is pretty much dilapidated with water right now, and the roads in London, the subways in Japan. But it's fresh water, clear water, not something that would come from the sewer, like they say, or even rainwater. You would think it'd be a little bit murky, but people are claiming it's clear as, like the Bahama type water where you can see right to the bottom. It's pretty strange.
That is weird. I mean, wonder if it has anything to do with the quote sun, wink wink. Who
Yeah,
knows?
maybe it's the fountains of the deep awakening again. I don't know. It's
I don't know, man. It's pretty little exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time. So if that's the case, I don't know. I mean, this whole if this is water, who knows what's gonna happen? I know that those people that wanted to shut the world down apparently want to own water now. So who knows if that has anything? I don't think it has anything to do with that, but
yeah. We were talking before we started recording about Gaddafi and how he was delivering all his people fresh water, the biggest aqueduct type system in the world, to the four corners of Libya before it got shut down by the God Bless America troops. So,
Eine Mutter greift nach ihrem Kind und ist total entsetzt. Sie kann es nicht begreifen, denn sein Körper ist zerfetzt. Es war einer dieser Tage, an dem alles friedlich war. Da stand auf einmal dieser Panzer von den Feinden, die in ihre Heimat kamen. Plötzlich drehte den Turm einfach zu ihr. Nahm die Mutter und den Sohn exklusive. Er machte Seile und lief auf den Panzer zu. Und rief, lass mich schon mal landen irgendwo. Sie sagte doch, sie kommen früh.
we came, he saw, he died. We all know who
yeah,
that is.
God forbid people have fresh water. I mean, the stuff we drink out of our faucets probably been recycled a million times already, right back to the sewer, right back to the treatment center, right back to us,
Dude,
drinking piss water for the last 20 years.
I would love to have the freshest water, like in the movie Waterboy. It's like it's picture.
Water Boy. Which was that? Is that Water World or Water Boy?
Waterboy with Adam Sandler,
God, I remember. I don't
where
remember.
he's living in the boonies with his mom and he doesn't know anything of the outside world. She kept him.
Oh, I must have missed that one.
Oh
I've
man,
seen a lot of
that's
Adam
one of the
Sandler
best
movies, but I must
movies.
have missed that one. I seen
That
Water
movie,
World where it starts out the beginning of the movie. The guy is uh he's relieving himself inside of a water filter, some sort of filtration, and then he just grabs a cup and drinks it again, and it keeps on going. Like, you seen Water
so
World?
it's yeah, yes. Wait.
Where the whole
Sorry,
earth is
the
flooded, I
phone
believe.
was ringing. I had to turn it off. My bad. You were saying that you described it again for me.
The guy starts out the movie. Well, starts out the movie. I don't remember who the actor was, but he's relieving himself inside of some sort of contraption where it filters all his urine so that it takes all the excrements out, and then he gets a fresh cup of water at the end of this whole like test tube type experiment looking contraption that he's using, and that's how he's living, is basically he's just drinking what he already drank.
No, not that. That's not what that is. This
That's what
new
I thought you were talking about at first. Like,
oh,
you said Water Boy. I'm like thinking Water World.
this is a comedy, dude.
Yeah, yeah, Adam
Straight up
Sandler.
slapstick comedy. Um, but you know, it's like the earth is um what 80, well, they say it's 80% water, 70% water. Who really knows at this point?
Well, it might even be more than that. I mean, we got the
Yeah,
Earth that we know of. You know, you got the oceans,
yeah,
you got the firmament above, and then you get the waters above.
yeah.
And people say there's another firmament below us of some sort, which is containing more water. Where I don't know if you've seen the video of the explorer that went to the bottom of the ocean and he saw lakes underneath the ocean, which doesn't make sense. And when he documented it, and I think he posted it on, I don't know if it's social media or maybe he just made a documentary about it somehow. And the guy was unalive not too short after.
Amazing things that I had ever seen in the bottom of the ocean. It was while filming for Blue Planet. It was in the Gulf of Mexico. And I noticed there's something out in the distance. Couldn't tell exactly what, but it looked like a dark band. And as we approached it, the dark band became a donut. I saw this donut. It was black in the center. What the heck is that? And so as we get closer and closer to it, I noticed that the black band had what appeared to be kind of steam over it. And then I looked, and there was water lapping against the shoreline. This band was a ring of mussels. And inside the ring of mussels was a lake. And it's like, wait a minute, I'm already underwater. We went out over the water in this lake and tried to descend in it and bounced off. It was so super saline and dense that the submarine couldn't go down in it. We literally bounced off, and as we bounced off, we sent ripples heading back to the shoreline. It was insane. I've never seen anything like it.
1972, he started speaking about heavy water with special properties that comes from the bottom of the sea. But this must have meant that at 19,000 feet, because it had a higher density, it would have been sitting there. So you can have water within water. So it was just sitting there. So when they put the capsule down and were trying to recover whatever they recovered this stuff that was sitting at this well. And it was. He reports in his notes that they recovered the water from this depression. And so what happened was rumors started spreading about the vessel. This was some type of curative of water.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that. I don't know. Show we were doing. It's crazy because you know they say water has memory, so who knows? Maybe we could find that out with what happened.
Yeah, yeah, I think it does too.
Water, crystals, all these things. I mean, heck, I was just watching a movie before we got on about mermaids. And it's supposed to be one of those this fun rated G ones, but they always throw in some truth in there. I
Yeah,
don't know if I mentioned this to you last time, live or not, but about the whole mermaids and how Africa.
yeah, yeah. We were talking about that the other day. It says in the Book of Enoch, you know, that the Nephilim that had relations with the women, that they became sirens and tormented the people out of the seas. So maybe there's some truth to that.
Hey, the water freaks me out sometimes. When you look down there, who knows he's down there? I mean, now they want to control it. So, I mean, they say that there's no satellite. Everything's all ground wires underneath the earth anyway. So who knows what they got? I mean, Google Earth will show like these videos of people with Google Earth just moving around with their mouths around the earth, and they're like, "Oh, what's this down like 3 miles, 5 miles down into the ocean?" And it's like a
My wife's tormenting me here. Hold on a second. What are you doing?
oh, I'm getting this. I'm getting text too while we're doing this. Yeah, man, it's so annoying.
She got a new computer and I think she's trying to set it up or something, but
But
she needs
yeah,
a
it's like,
monitor first, so
oh, okay. And it's like they have like these round tables, yeah, in underwater, and who knows these elites. It's just crazy the
did
stuff
you
that
see the whole conspiracy where the elites are actually capturing those creatures and supposedly eating them and having meals? You didn't see that? It's been
they know.
you can probably Google it, I'm sure you'll find it, but you never know what to believe. It's like coast to coast, you can kind of eat the watermelon and spit out some seeds. But I mean maybe.
Mermaids would be the guest of honor. And on here talking about her. Are celebrities and super rich people eating mermaids? Now let's talk about it. Now I've been seeing a lot of people talk about this lady on here talking about how her friend went to this extravagant A-list party and they had mermaids on the menu, like actual mermaids. And that whole situation and story just reminded me of this Mexican actor Cantinflas. Please excuse me if I didn't pronounce his name right. But he used to have these extravagant parties where mermaids would be the guest of honor. He literally built his home for like the mermaids to be able to enter his home. Like this was his house. He had like an open pool where they could just swim up at night. And rumor has it he would have these extravagant party with all kinds of A-list celebrities and like high up people. And the mermaids would
I mean,
I mean, at this point, who knows, man? At least, you go first. You have the red pill, then you first your blue pill, then you get the red pill, and then you get black pill and white pill.
yeah. They would gotta throw some smoke and mirrors and to make the waters murky, and you never know. But yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised. I mean, they're already eating, children. I mean, what's to stop them from eating some exotic creature they might find? And there was a movie I saw, I think it was called Siren or Mermaid or something like that. But it starts off this fisherman's got this new recruit and they're going to look for mermaids on the sea. And he's just like, what? Coming along for the ride. He thinks he's, old man's cuckoo, Cocoa Puffs. And they're out there. And sure enough, they capture a mermaid. And he's got this whole plan of how he's going to murder this mermaid and chop its tail off and sell the mermaid's parts, I guess, or something. So he does that. The one recruit I think ends up dying, but the other old man ends up doing what he was gonna do and chops off the tail of the thing, and the thing's down in like the dungeon of the boat and just screaming around down there. But long story short, I don't even know if I made it to the end. I might have, but he captures this thing, and I think their intention was he was gonna sell it to the elites or something to eat, or these people that were gonna eat it and like a delicacy.
Oh,
And I don't know. They always say the truth is in movies, but it's
yeah,
kind of far fetched. But we've already been lied to about enough stuff in this earth. So who's to say?
I mean, if they are doing that and they're of the bloodline of the Nephilim, who knows? Maybe it is like either them.
Yeah, if it wasn't for books of the Bible, I'd be really screwed up. I mean, I don't know which one of these stories to believe, but I mean, they already document in the Bible sirens, and they're in the Bible itself mentioned. I think they translate the word to screech owl or
Yeah.
something in the King James. It's not a mermaid; it's a screech owl now. But kind of like they translate a satyr. Is that, am I saying that right? Satyr with a like the goat
Oh
with
yeah,
the legs type thing. Satyr, yeah.
not
They translate that to what's something else, and something like a wolf or I don't remember,
werewolf,
but yeah, they just add a different
horseman.
something like that. I think it's in the book of Isaiah, but always to throw us off the trail. Oh,
Well,
I
I mean,
actually did find a that Bible I was talking about. Hold on.
oh yeah,
Not to switch gears real quick, but we're talking about the time discrepancy, and I was saying there could possibly be 1,000 years missing. I think I talked to you on the phone about that too, and you were talking about the Geneva Bible,
Hmm.
and it was supposedly 16 or no 1560. They say 1560 is when they released the Geneva Bible. But if you look, it's all backwards, of course, on my screen, but this is actually an I
Oh,
560. And the I always was to represent in the year of Julius Caesar or in the year of Nero or in the year, and it's documented. That's what the I was always supposed to be for. But shortly after that edition was written, the new editions of the Geneva Bible, they started creating a one there instead of an I. Well, how does that work? You just switched a whole 1,000 years basically.
you can tell people like, oh, well, it's just, well, what I mean is like people will be like, oh, well, that's just because they just wanted to modernize you. So it was still 15. That's why they wrote the longest.
Yeah, and there are several books that have I think it's a 14, well, they would say a 1400s book. But if you read inside the book, it's talking about the year 400. Even though on the front of the copyright it says I 400 and something, once you start reading the book, it's talking about the year 400. There's no I anymore once you start reading the book. And I don't
Whoa.
remember what book that was. I'll have to come up research again, but I was really into researching the whole timeline discrepancy. I get on these little tangents where I'll research the flat Earth, or I'll research the timeline, or I'll research
Same,
whatever. But
same. I
and
go
then I
down.
always forget half the stuff. 10 days later, I'm like, oh, I'm on some other
Hence why
phase.
we, hence why we gotta record things.
My memory is not that great, especially with names and
Yeah,
dates.
same. I remember faces with names as well. So yeah, like this whole water thing. I don't know. I hope they're okay in New Jersey. Apparently, there's stuff happening in Texas that people are still trying to help with, and I don't know. It's just, and you want. I think it's probably hard doing all this crap and to
Yeah,
keep
it's either
eyes.
something they're doing or they're doing damage control for stuff God is trying to judge us with. One of the two. Like if it is like the fountains of the deep coming up, they're gonna say, "Oh, it's just a storm," you know, like just like with the whole Noah's Ark story, they say, "Oh, it was just some rain that came down and flooded the earth, 20,000 feet of water," you know, like that's possible. Um, I mean, that's the story I was growing up with when I was a kid. Like, oh, the rain started coming down and it just kept coming for how many days? Is it like
40
60
days and
days
40
or
nights.
40 days? Yeah. And all of a sudden, 40 days of rain is going to cover the whole earth. They don't tell you about the fountains of the deep blowing up, and they don't tell you about the windows of heaven opening up, which drop the firmament water out, down on us, causing all the rain and all the massive flooding. But
Well,
I don't
yeah.
know.
I mean, it is. How do I say this? It is. I mean, I thought they mentioned that. I have to look it up again, but it's like from the ceiling, from underneath. I mean, they made a movie about it, Noah.
Oh
So I
gosh,
mean,
don't
it
even get me
makes
started
sense.
on the Noah movie. Have you watched the Noah movie?
Yeah, I watched it. I know people were like against it, but because the Christian world was like, oh, because it had extra biblical texting. But I don't see what's wrong with it. It's,
Well, I watched the whole thing, and I was surprised that they admitted the Nephilim were around, which were rock monsters basically, but which
well,
is kind of which kind of weird.
that's their way to probably just
Yeah,
squeeze
make
it.
it look stupid, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but they were the good guys somehow. The Nephilim were the good guys. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that was the bad part.
and the Nephilim were keeping all the crazy people from coming to the ark. But the worst thing was how they made Noah look. He looks like an old patriarch, overbearing father, real harsh on his children. Um, so he was a bad guy essentially because he wanted to kill that baby. I don't remember if you remember the baby. There was a baby that one of his kids gave birth to a child on the ark,
Yeah,
which obviously never happened. And he was saying that because he took a girl from the heathens, basically, that it was God's
Mess up
gonna
the
be
book.
mad, so he's gonna kill the child. So right there, it's like, well, that's weird. And of course, Ham in the story, in the Noah story in the Bible, is the bad guy. Well, he's the good guy in Noah. He's the one that's trying to protect his child now, and
Yeah, it's obviously it's Hollywood, but there are some things that I thought they did pretty well. So let's give it a 90, 85. Let's give it an 80%. I'm gonna have it that.
yeah, it would have been a lot better if they would have stuck to the original story. What are you doing? I can.
Oh, it's not shit in it. All right, so yeah, it's I don't know. It's interesting to say the least.
Mhm. Yeah, that was the other. What was the other movie I watched? The Mary. Is that
That one
another
freaked
movie?
me out that I didn't want to see that.
Mary, and it
Oh,
talks about her mom and dad, and when they gave birth to Mary. It,
oh no, I thought you sorry, my mind went straight to that weird sci-fi movie. And
there's
I'm
another
thinking
movie.
yeah, I'm thinking of a different name. I know that forget. I was in a totally different genre. I didn't know that's what you were talking about. My bad.
That what was that? Mary's Child, or Mary? What was the one that had the weird alien child? Is that the one you're
Yeah,
thinking
yeah, Erie or Mary or I don't know, some crazy Emma, I
of?
don't know.
Rosemary's Child or something like that?
No, like this new one. It's
Oh, there's a new one.
some new I don't know if it's a robot, I don't know, some freaky.
Oh, um, Megan.
Yeah, that one. That's what I'm thinking about. But yeah, that
Oh,
movie.
no, that's they had a new one that came out. It's Megan 2 now, right? And my kids wanted to see it. Saw the first one where she was a bad guy, and then the second one, I guess she was a good guy. She was reprogrammed. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Man, the stuff they throw in our face, and it's always like 10 years ahead or 20 years ahead. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, they definitely have some stuff out there that would blow our minds. I don't believe they have nuclear bombs per se, but I believe they got other stuff that they weather controlling, manipulation type stuff, and
I
whatever
hear
they're doing.
explain because I keep hearing that. I believe there are, but I don't know why people don't think there are.
On nuclear bombs? Well,
Hmm.
like the space program, how many times have we gone to space? They say
Well,
we've gone to space, what, 3 times or so?
yeah, that's what they
Or
said.
the moon, I should say. The moon, not space, but the moon. They say
Yeah,
we've gone there 3 times. And why have we gone back for what? For 40 years we haven't gone there now? That's kind of suspicious, right? And that's what first kind of opened my mind. Like, we haven't been back there in 40, 50 years. What's going on? Like we're fighting over an island in the Pacific Ocean, but we obviously have 10,000 square miles sitting above us that we could be inhabiting, right? According to them.
yeah, according to them.
Yeah, according to them. So,
It doesn't matter. We can get stuck in the wall. It's what, how 500 miles of the building and UAE, where the heck is Saudi Arabia, where the heck is the line? We're just living there.
yeah, so
No
with the
control while
nuclear
we live.
so the
Oh,
same thing with the nuclear bombs. Like, so we've dropped 2 bombs. We've dropped about as many bombs as about as many times we've gone to the moon, and we haven't done it in even longer than the moon landing. We haven't dropped bombs since Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? Well, if you look at the story of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the story is there was what, big boy and little boy. We dropped one on each, um, and that was it. That was the end of the war. That was what I was told. The end of the war because they were so scared of our bombs, and we were all our troops came back and rah rah. We paraded in the streets, but in reality, after those 2 explosions, they never surrendered. They're like, yeah, we're still going. We're fine. It wasn't until Russia came from the north and took over their islands that they got scared, I guess, and surrendered. And that's when the war ended. Not because of our 2, atomic bombs. So there's whistleblowers that came back and said, well, they weren't really bombs. We stockpiled dynamite inside these buildings. And yeah, we dropped the bomb, but the bombs caused the dynamite to explode, and that's what caused the mushroom clouds. Okay, well, maybe not, but maybe. So, is there evidence for that? Yeah, there is evidence because there's pictures that were taken of them stockpiling dynamite by the palletful in those two spots. We had been carpet bombing Nagasaki and Hiroshima and Nagasaki for um, weeks and weeks. We had basically, laid waste to those cities already. They already looked like that before the bombs even exploded. They had already been demolished.
Really?
They had been laid waste for weeks. And so once we destroyed those cities, we sent some guys in there, stockpiled the dynamite, said, "Hey, we got nukes." Blew them, blew the dynamite up, two huge explosions, and only one person, and I forget his name, was allowed to actually film any of it. Anybody else who tried to go there and film the aftermath or the beforemath was instantly jailed for indefinitely. So there's only one photographer that took all those pictures, and he was the only one assigned by our government, which, why? That's obviously censorship. Um,
Man, I
and
didn't even hear about that.
yeah, and you won't.
That's
So,
crazy.
and why haven't they blown anything else up? It'd be so easy right now to go into Iran and just drop one and be all over, right? Well,
Well, they're
they're
talking
all
about,
touting the
yeah,
same lie. They're all the countries are in on it together, like they always say. There's no such thing as atomic nuclear bombs. Yeah, they threaten it. They threaten it when they want to have a regime change, to threaten someone into a regime change, and then they're going to send their people over, and then it's a way of them asking for compliance without doing anything. So,
so when
like
you
with
hear people,
Iran, they say that oh well, they got a nuclear program with plutonium and uranium, and we need to stop that because that could potentially be a threat where they could potentially create a nuclear bomb. Well, first of all, we gave them the uranium and the plutonium back in the 1970s. We under was it uh
Iran
who came
conflict,
after JFK? Bert, who took over
Gerald
the
Ford.
office after what?
Oh,
Larry.
you talking the vice president that had him murdered?
Yeah. So the guy
What,
I think that came after uh, Larry Johnson or
Lyndon G.
Lyndon
Johnson?
Johnson. Yeah, I told you I hate names. Lyndon Johnson. So he had a program, I believe it was him, where they called it they had a name for it, but they started giving them nuclear power. And we funded it all. We gave them all the plutonium and uranium to start this project, supposedly. Well, if it's so dangerous and bad, and then again, I forget the guy's name, but there was a guy back in the 80s. He was a nuclear physicist, quote unquote, and he had dealt with all the radioactive stuff. And he was actually taking baths in the pools of the radiation in the nuclear facilities, proving how safe it was. In fact, he'd have demonstrations where he would actually drink radiated water, and he had pieces of, I don't remember if it's plutonium or uranium or both of them, but he would actually eat some in front of his audience. Like, it does not.
This man decided to eat radioactive uranium.
That material that I just ate is not soluble in body fluid.
Uranium is insoluble in water and resistant to stomach acid, so that ingested uranium would eventually become radioactive poop. Galen Windsor was a renowned nuclear physicist who designed and operated many nuclear power plants in the US. His audacious acts extended to swimming in reactor cooling pools and even drinking his water for fun. Windsor believed that the fear of radiation has been exaggerated by federal energy cartels so they can retain control of the world's most valuable power resource and manipulate electricity prices. He wrote a book and went on extensive
Nothing. It's all a hoax, I'll have to go back and edit this later and show you the clips of him. But yeah, he'd have whole presentations where he'd do nothing but say that the whole nuclear program is just a hoax. Basically, you're just boiling water, and you have a bunch of rods, and they're cycling energy, kind of like almost like the idea of dams and stuff where they created energy.
Well, I wonder what that source of energy does then that they say is dangerous is going to use in the dam, because I just found out that they maybe we talked about, maybe we didn't, but maybe I sent it to you. I don't remember it. Well, I sent it to a friend. I don't remember, but apparently they must have taken it off the periodic table. I don't know, like they did the ether, but apparently it's like they used to heat their homes not with wood. They used to heat it with radium,
Yeah, radon.
and it's perfect. And it's like I'm
That's
like,
what the
what?
fireplaces are for, yeah. That's why the old fireplaces, you don't see any ash or any burn marks if you're
Yeah,
burning coal or wood or whatever. You'd think that they'd be just darkened and pitch black.
it's
But the
like there's a
places
hole in the
that,
wall.
yeah, I mean, they have been since then because they turned them into, you know, fireplaces now where you throw logs. But back then, if you look at the old pictures, they have clean fireplaces. It's like they've never been used. Yeah, and I think if you zoom in close, you'll see like radon or something like that on it. And
Yeah, it's
you know what
crazy.
the byproduct of radon is?
Right?
Helium.
What?
Helium.
It is.
So if you have an engine that's using radon or any sort of energy source that's using radon, the exhaust of that would be helium.
Really.
Very interesting.
Dude, man, this is crazy. And they all we have is free abundance. And
But they say that helium's in so low scarcity. Well, for one, NASA owns it all, and they won't let you have helium for, a cheap price when you can just basically make it from radon. And yeah, the only thing they'll give you is like the little ones that'll blow up a balloon or something, for your party or you.
you're a clown. Hey, I'm a clown. Listen,
Yeah, they
all
sell
the
a whole
clowns
brand of stuff.
unite. Let's get all the helium.
Yeah, it'd be
Oh
interesting
my
to build
God.
an airship. I don't know what the airship ran, if that was helium or what, uh,
I forget what it was, but
but they say they were powered by ether. And ether used to be on the periodic table until they took that
yeah,
off.
yep, yep. And it's man, it's just I don't know, man. I'm thinking about the schools I work at, and I'm
Hey.
thinking these kids don't know anything, these teachers don't know anything, and now it's like, heck, I don't know anything. So whereas I was
Yeah,
indoctrinated in public school, and now I'm learning a lot
yeah,
compared to our grandparents, with their grandparents, great grandparents.
it's amazing how dumbed down our grandparents were. I mean, they were smart in some ways, but they were so indoctrinated, and
Oh
how
yeah,
and
yeah.
how that happened is just because I guess like my grandpa just did nothing but read the newspaper. Like he'd come home from work, he'd drink his coffee, and he'd watch it. Look at his newspaper and watch the news, and that was his life. You know,
Yeah.
and they have such a censorship on the books. It's ridiculous. Like even at the libraries. I don't know if you've ever gone to a library, but any book that's got any sort of truth to it was censored from the libraries. And it's been that
I
way for a long time.
I even tried getting a book. Well, I don't know if they have it, but I donated some DVDs and documentaries and stuff back in the day. They didn't here have this. And obviously there was in the InfoWars
Yeah, I've always wondered that if I had a few extra copies of Loose Change, you know what that is?
yeah. I
Yeah.
like it. One.
If I gave this to the library, if they'd actually, stick that in the in the documentary section,
Or
or if we
or
just
or
chuck
if
that,
they or if
have it
they
at the next
trash it.
library sale or something.
Yeah, or if they trash it. Like what was happening 2 days ago in Bohemian Grove,
Oh, you
July
saw?
16th, the
Yeah.
Nation of Terror. That's what was happening 2 days ago on the 15th.
What did you say?
Maybe maybe they censored that what I just said. Ha ha, or I mumbled it. Today's the 16th or the 17th.
Today is the 16th.
Okay, so yesterday, the cremation of care, the Bohemian Grove and all that.
Yep.
Well, there you go.
Hmm. Have to look at that.
I had that documentary and I gave it to one of the libraries. Let's see if it's still in circulation.
The JFK assassination or any of the above. Did you ever hear of the Cincinnati Society?
No.
I just found out about that. I can't believe I didn't know about that earlier. But so after the Revolutionary War, they set up what's called the Cincinnati Society, which was a kind of like a Mason type secret society, obviously in Cincinnati, where all the ex neocons, I guess you could call it, that came out of the Revolutionary War. Like you couldn't just be a regular soldier; you had to be like an honored type soldier to be in the society. And they set it up kind of like a monarchy, where the next person in charge would be like the son of the person that the chairman type of thing. And so there's um, a lot of people evil about it that they didn't want that to fruition, but it did. And their goal, though, was to make sure that the Revolutionary War narrative that we were the good guys, us and the French, that we took out the mean British, you know, king and we set up our own country here. And their whole narrative was to glorify the George Washington and to glorify, the John Adams and all those people that were in charge, and to set up, they always say that the winners get to write history type of thing. So they got to
Oh, yeah.
basically write the history however they wanted it to be, whether it was true or not, because they were going to honor whoever they wanted to honor and dishonor whoever they wanted to dishonor,
His
which is
story.
fine if they're going to stick to the real truth. But maybe our whole Revolutionary War and what we were fighting for, maybe there's a lot of gray area there too. I don't know.
I who knows if it's even in the National Archives? I mean, I
So
don't know.
George Washington, I don't know if you saw the one podcast, but George Washington and King George actually look quite similar. If you look at their pictures, very similar. George Washington and King George. Go look at
Really?
pictures of them both. And
I
you
have,
could probably do, if there was a facial recognition on paintings, probably AI would figure that's the same guy.
that's crazy. I mean, heck, our first, you know where our capital was before? It was in Washington, D.C., right? You know where it was, right?
Where it was before Washington.
Yeah.
Well, I say it wasn't Richmond.
Nope.
And then before that it was it in Delaware or
No.
was it Connecticut? I don't know.
No. New York City. New York. That's where our first capital of the nation was.
Hmm.
And supposedly George
Well,
Washington.
before that it was called what was it called before New York? It was called New Amsterdam or something like that. Was that what it was?
Who knows?
I don't remember what it was
I
called,
mean,
but
heck,
some
I
name before it was New York.
I live in New England, so I mean, who knows? I mean, that's crazy. Like, okay, first, as we were taught, George Washington was our first president. Apparently, he said that he found out that he was 27 more before that.
Actually, I was wrong. There was 14. I went back and looked. It was actually 14 presidents.
14.
Yeah, if you saw the other podcast, I kind of put that into our timeline. But yeah, it was actually 14 presidents
All
before.
right, I gotta figure that out. Well, I gotta look into that. But on our so-called history that they teach us, they're saying that when George Washington became the quote first president, that our capital was actually New York.
Hmm.
And then when Adams came in as the second president, that's when they moved. He was technically the first president to move into the White House down in D.C. So that's what we were told. Now, this whole 14 pre-presidents, wow, what does that mean? Does that mean that it was before we became, well, we weren't a corporation back then when George Washington was anyway. The corporation didn't start until the 1800s. So they're saying that technically there's only 17 presidents under the non-corporation.
Hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe with the Revolutionary War, maybe they screwed up whatever good system we did have with the first 14 presidents, and he just like, oh, we're gonna let the bankers in, we're gonna do this the English way anyway, even though we won the war, we didn't win the war. And England basically still had their hand in our country, even after the Revolutionary War. So who knows?
Lot of unlearning, a lot of digging again, man. That's just crazy. 14. I gotta finish that. Finish watching the.
Yeah, I got to finish editing last week's too. Like I said, the power went out here because one lightning strike, which doesn't make any sense. What is just focused on a generator or focused on a transformer or what happened? Like, how does that happen? It doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of weird stuff that happens in our town. One day I came home from work and our power, the whole city of Beloit was without power for I want to say 2 or 3 hours for no reason, you know. And then
Well,
a week later was another town next to us, same thing. And then a week later it was another town next to us. Like they were taking turns turning off power to see, hey, are the people gonna go stir crazy or are they just gonna stay normal and maybe
really,
they get the reaction they
yeah.
wanted? I don't know.
Let's see what the guinea pigs do. I don't know. Did you see my text that I sent you about Wisconsin? Well, you remember what I sent you?
There was a text that didn't go anywhere. Um, I clicked on something and it sent me to a website and it didn't make any sense. I assumed it was probably an error or something, kind of like what you said happened earlier when I sent you the link for the
Here,
Zoom.
let me look right now.
Oh, and getting back to that water treatment thing in Connecticut, did you see what happened with the results of that? I kind of kept an eye on that, and I guess they decided they're not going to release um, that chemical into the waters till 2026 now in Connecticut. But they did on
Yeah,
some
they were
little
doing it. They were doing it in a place called Southington. I was sharing videos on it.
something like that. Yeah, I seen the pictures of the birds dead, washed
Yeah.
up on shore and stuff. Yeah,
But, yeah. I
unreal.
have friends that go in the waters all the time. They go and stuff. So I think yeah,
What's it called? Die something. I don't remember.
dicot.
Daiquat.
So I have it here. What I sent you, bonds for the win. There's a Telegram chat.
Yeah, it was Telegram. That's what it was. But I don't have a Telegram
Okay, that's
app, and
what.
it wasn't. That's what it was, and it wasn't letting me go to it.
So I'll read it to you. Apparently, it says Wisconsin. They did something. The Democrats did something over there. Yeah, I'll screenshot it and send it to you. Tony, I'll read it to you. Tony, for one
Tony
minute.
Evers, yeah, our blessed governor here.
Yeah, Tony Evers, Wisconsin Democrat governor, has vetoed a bill that would have protected young girls from mandating kids play sports according to their biological sex. He'd rather your daughter was beat up and injured by a boy in a dress than offend someone's feelings. The Democrats are an anti-child, anti-science, anti-woman cult. So that's your
Yeah,
that's
yeah, he's
not
a.
far
Yeah,
from
I
not
can't
far
stand it.
from our Democrats. Yeah.
We have him, and then we have on the Illinois side, we have a guy named Pritzker, and it's just he looks like a mafia boss. If you ever seen the guy, like he's overweight, chubby, wears a suit all the time. He just looks like something you'd see on a video game, like the last guy you defeat or something like that in Double Dragon. He just looks like some
Crazy.
mafia boss.
We gotta fix stuff, man. All right, so how we doing? We got
Yeah, we don't have much time left. Yeah. So yeah, I guess we'll just wrap it up. We're about at our 30 minutes, so that's we're gonna change the name to an hour off the cuff, but a little
oh,
much with editing, especially with the time I have. Barely get it done as a half hour. But yeah,
we'll figure something out.
you know who this guy is, right?
Oh yeah, Superman.
So that's a whole nother rabbit hole. I don't know if you've heard of his correlation with I don't know the other bearer of light, but
Oh yes, I have heard that.
yeah,
Yes,
so
I
he's
have
gonna go
heard
down that
that.
rabbit hole one of these days.
I have heard that, and
His
I was like,
name means
let it not be so.
I know, right? It's my whole childhood. I can't give
I
that up.
know. Well,
I might actually see the new movie just to kind of see if there's any more correlations between the two characters or not. But
you know,
I don't know. Somebody said that the new Superman's all AI generated. It's not a real person. Have you heard that?
No.
Could be false. I don't know. I heard it from somebody, but I was like, it looked like a real.
If that's the case, that's very impressive. They just
Yeah, because I seen the previews. It looked like a dude, and I thought he was an actor. Unless maybe like he's a real person, but they AI generated his muscles or something. I don't know. Who knows? Which they do for
Well-
everybody else. They've done it for Aquaman and all the other. They improvise with the muscles and the different tricks of the camera, whatever.
yeah. But yeah, like I guess the rabbit hole goes deep and we'll just keep on digging. So,
Yeah. All righty. Till next week then.
all right, man.
Attach just to the rest of it. All right. I'll talk to you later.
Cool.
Have a good week.
You too.
Bye.
Yep.